Good morning. Well, it's not raining. We're gonna keep the anhydrous moving here today. I'm hoping I can convince Phil to run that because I have some spraying that I want to do. So I'm gonna start working on getting that stuff ready to go. Phil's getting us a full anhydrous tank at the moment. So when he gets back, we'll talk to him. But hopefully we're gonna get a lot done today. Well, it's going to be a minute before we can spray because our water tank is empty. So I've been trying to get chemicals and stuff that I need around. We have two different things we're going to use today. I've got a little bit of that Quilt Excel. That's actually left over from our wheat applications when we sprayed flag leaf fungicide on some wheat. We use Quilt Excel, and I have some Quadris, which is cheap. So these two chemicals, two fungicides, they're made by the same company. They're actually almost identical. In fact, Quadris is basically the base to form Quilt Excel. So Quilt is a combination of Quadris and another fungicide called Tilt. And the Quadris is a strobilurin. The Tilt portion of it is a propiconazole, I believe. And basically it's one is a preventative fungicide that keeps disease from entering the plant and getting started. The other one's a curative that will kind of kill any disease that's already in the plant. Well, it's early in the year. We don't have any disease really out there. This is almost purely a preventative fungicide. That's why we're using the cheap Quadris versus the slightly more expensive Quilt Excel on most of it, or the much more expensive Trivapro, Miravis Neo, the higher end fungicides. We'll use those at tassel and for soybeans later in the season. What is that noise? Something loud. Anyway, we'll use those later in the season for soybeans and tassel fungicide when there's more disease already present and we need to prevent and fix what's already there. But early like this, we don't need those. Okay, I brought the sprayer up here. Dad sprayed fungicide last. That was the last thing that he did. I believe it was some fungicide on the wheat, the head scab stuff. So a different fungicide, but a fungicide nonetheless. And the sprayer is empty. But what that means is we don't have to worry about any chemical contamination, carryover, residue left in the booms or anything like that. And we've already got the right nozzles on there. He's got these twin jets that are what we use for the fungicide. So the sprayer is set up and good to go. We just need a little bit of water. While I'm waiting for some water to run, I'm gonna haul a tank for Phil. All right, I got that tank brought back for Phil. This field here, the next one he's gonna go to after he finishes where we were last night, is the one that we planted some of this with that 24 row exact emerge. So that means the rows aren't exactly gonna line up. Side dressing 16 while planting 24. Every other pass you're going to be in the planter split, which, I mean, it was planted with RTK auto steer. It should be fine and not matter, but maybe a little interesting for him. Plus the end rows are going to be a little rough because it was plenty wet when we planted that field. All right, well, I gave him a quick tutorial. He has run it. He knows what he's doing. Phil put all the anhydrous on for our farm for 30 years before I started doing it here 3 or 4 years ago. So Phil knows what he's doing, and he can handle that just fine. It's just a different bar than what he's run very much. So he's gonna go finish that field last night and get that started. We should have enough water to get started spraying. All right, so we're gonna start with this field right out here. And we're gonna spray Quilt Excel. We need 5 gallons of that. That's enough to do 61-ish acres. It's like 60.9 something, so we're gonna call it 61. We're gonna go with a relatively high rate of water for this because, well, I have room on the sprayer to hold it. So we're gonna spray 15 gallons to the acre, which means I need 915 gallons of water. So we're pumping the water in, coming out of these tanks, coming from our garden hose, through our pumps, through our hose, into the sprayer. Our chemicals go right in here. We have this nice chemical eductor, and so we will pour this directly in there. It's got a nice sprayer in there to wash the jugs out and everything, and then we'll be ready to spray. Put that jug in there upside down and I push down on it, it sprays water around on the inside to rinse it. And once we get all the chemical in there, we can close up our valves and turn the adductor off. Okay, now we just wait for the water. Okay, we are loaded up. First thing we need to do is tell it how much is in there. 920 gallons. Okay. We've got the right field selected. I've got the right product in there, Quilled Excel. It's a 10.5 ounce rate. We're doing 15 gallons total water. There's the field we're going to. Guidance, we need to set up a track 0. We're going to use main, accept. Okay. Our rate, down here we select the rate. We want 15 gallons to the acre. Okay. Section control we want on. We want our steering on. I think we're ready to go. We're going to turn on our solution pump and our tank agitation to get everything mixing. Let's see what happens. It's been a minute since I've run the sprayer. Dad's done everything this spring to this point. But usually what happens, or what happened last year and what I think is going to happen again this year, is he does all the spring stuff, and once we get to about this time of year, I kind of take over because I have time and do a lot of the in-crop work. And Dad works on field improvement stuff and tile projects and all that. He will most likely spray the beans again. Probably next week we'll have to hit the beans with the post-emerge herbicide pass. So, but other than that, I'll do a lot of the spraying, the corn fungicide, the bean fungicide later in the summer, that kind of stuff. On a different note, this corn looks fantastic. And it is growing and it's beautiful and I'm thrilled with it. So that is awesome. We're gonna go back here to by the woods and start back there and work our way across here. We've got enough chemical for about 60 acres between this field, these two, and that one. There is like 75. This is all that early snow planted corn. This field here is where my plot is. I want to spray some out there, but that was planted quite a bit later and it is not ready yet. So that's gonna have to wait. All right, see if I remember how to unfold the booms. Lift them up, push the little button, and down. Okay, so the way that I like to spray fungicide is I'm not super concerned about covering every acre of this field, right? And I'm trying to protect the really good corn that's out here. Well, the really good corn that's out here is generally not on the end rows and it's not right along the edges of the trees. And in an effort to run over less of it, I don't do the perimeter. So I don't make a pass all the way around the outside like we would if we were spraying a herbicide or something that was critical to get every acre covered. So I'm pulling into the field here on what would be the second pass off of the woods. And we're just gonna start here and go back and forth and see how far we make it. Plus the fact that we don't have enough to cover the whole field anyway, kind of leaves me some check strips a little bit, although they're not super fair check strips. I should leave one pass through the middle and maybe we'll do that. But that's how I like to do it. Okay, took me a second to get the hang of this again, but we've got it. You can kind of see the pattern there where we've got a jet shooting forward and a jet shooting backwards on each nozzle. That's for coverage to try and get better penetration of the chemical into the corn plants, which in this case is probably not critical because there's not that much plant material out there. I have found that the auto steer on this sprayer is a little squirrely, especially at higher speeds, so I'm trying to keep it down a little bit. I don't know what we're doing, 11 miles an hour or something like that. But we're covering 160 acres an hour. That's pretty fast. Some beautiful corn down here. Just looks fantastic. Okay, we've got 36 acres done in this field. There's a lot more in the perimeter around the outside than you would think, but that was what we covered of it. And we're gonna call that good enough out here. I basically have done all of the interior. We got a field across the lane over there we're gonna jump across to, but I'm gonna fold up to get there. And we'll spray as much of that as we can or need to, and then we'll load up again, go to the next field. All right, we got that field done as well. We do have some solution left on the sprayer. Just wasn't enough acres to use the whole 60 that we mixed up, apparently, which is fine. We're gonna mix up another 60 acres worth because we got room for it, and go to the next field. The next field is, again, about 75 acres. We may or may not use it all up there, but we can find another spot to spray it. That's not a problem. Okay, I'm getting loaded up, just waiting for enough water. We need a little over 1,000 gallons. We had just over 100 left, which is exactly what the monitor said. So we need about 1,025 for the next batch with what was left. I was just looking at my list. Here's my list of fields and what we're spraying where. I was gonna go to 16-1, spray 60 acres of quilt, but there's about 72 or maybe 75 acres in that field. If I switch with this 5-3, this is our corn on corn field. That there's actually about 95 acres between two different fields there, and I was only going to spray 53 of it with this Quadris, so I'm going to swap those. We're going to take this quilt, which is a little bit better fungicide, spray it on the corn acres. We should be able to spray somewhere around 70, not quite 70 acres of the 95 that is there, and then we'll take this Quadris and spray 53 acres in this field up there. That'll make it work out a little better, plus we'll get the better fungicide in the corn on corn acres, which is where you figure to have a little bit higher disease pressure. So one of the reasons we like to rotate crops, and we do rotate crops and not plant the same thing on the same field every year, is to break up that disease cycle. So the diseases that attack soybeans are different than the diseases that attack corn. And so if you plant one crop continuously, that pressure is going to keep building and building and building. And by rotating, we break those cycles up. So, you know, we do have a little bit of corn on corn this year, but it's just the one field, about 100 acres, like I said, to even our acres out. So we'll go spray that one with this Quilt Excel that's got a little bit of that curative fungicide in it that I was talking about earlier, and it'll help if we do have any disease already out there. Here's our corn on corn field. This corn doesn't look quite as good as that field we were just in, but it was also planted a week and a half later, something like that. So yeah, the April 18th for what we just sprayed versus this was, I think, April 28th. So it was 10 days. Well, I figured out why the auto steer wasn't working on that first field very good, or why it was so squirrely. Dad didn't have any offsets on here. So on this screen, you got to set it up and tell it where the GPS receiver is in relation to the rear axle and to the boom. And they were set at zeros, which means that the computer didn't know where the GPS receiver was in relationship to the rear axle of the sprayer, and didn't know how to steer it quite right, or what effect the steering movements would make. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. He never complained all spring that it didn't work, and that's, I guess, my fault for not getting it set up right back in March. But I fixed it. Well, this field worked out where it had exactly the right number of passes to be an even sprayer pass. So we're right edge to edge, but I didn't do the ends on either end. So we covered 52, probably 53, 54, 55 acres out of the 65, 63 in this field. So this page, there's the map. So we're gonna jump across the lane and spray out what we got left in our tank. there's 35 acres over there. We only had enough to spray 70, and we'll have 55, so we can only do about 15? Yeah, 15 of it. Okay, I finished spraying that out. We're gonna load up. We got 2 more loads to spray, a big load and a small load. We're gonna do the small one first. Basically 1 jug of our Quadris. It's enough for 53 acres. So we only need, I'll have to do the math on how much water. I was gonna reduce the rate. On the big load, we're gonna reduce the rate to 12 gallons the acre, because 106 acres, we're gonna need a full tank. But on this one, I can keep it at the 15. So anyway, we're getting loaded up again. 800 gallons, $7.95, but really it's 800. So the application rate on Quadris is different than the Quilt Excel. On the Quilt Excel, we were doing 10.5 fluid ounces per acre. Quadris, because we're missing that tilt component, the propiconazole, we only need 6 ounces per acre. So one 2.5 gallon jug does 53 acres. There's Phil. He is moving faster than 5 miles an hour. That's a good thing. I don't think he's doing 10 or 9 or 8, but he's moving a little bit faster. Gonna be awfully hard to get 230 acre side dress today when he's got 25 done and it's 11:30. Back in the sprayer and in the field here, spraying our Quadris. This field has electric poles. We're just gonna skip that. We're just not even gonna go by the electric poles. And we're empty. 52.7 acres. I was 4 gallons of water short. Close enough. So we're gonna fold up, load up a big load. We're gonna do basically as full as we can get the tank, 1,200 plus gallons, 106 acres worth, so 5 gallons of Quadris, and head to the last field we're gonna spray today. I do have 2 other fields that I intend to spray, but they were later planted and are a little bit behind, so they're not ready to be sprayed yet. Looks like Dad's been up here. There are ATV tracks down the 1 row in front of us. I think he was up here trying to clean up some of this grass along the edge with the ATV sprayer. This is the field that he started spraying corn in. I think his boom wasn't quite primed and charged with the proper chemical right here in this corner, and so we had a little bit of grass get away from us and cleaned that up with some Roundup. He's also been up here doing some mowing, it looks like. The roadsides in that little lane over there have been mowed down, so that's good. All right, we are loaded up. We've got a full tank, and unfortunately, it's the farthest field away that we have that's not perky. 10-mile trip there and back, so yeah, it'll be all right, but it'll take us a minute to get there. Made it to the field, and we've got some beautiful looking corn here too. Wade, if you're watching, Wade, my agronomist, he watches most of my videos. If I am going to enter a field into the National Corn Growers Contest, this is the one to do it. I probably should do it, but I don't know. I might. One nice thing about the sprayer, we don't have to fold up to cross the little ditches. All right, so there's like 5 little fields down here. Biggest one's like 35 acres. So we're jumping around between all of them. I've got 3 of them done. The 2 bigger ones left to do. We've got 579 gallons left, which means we're about half done from what we brought. So we'll do this field, and then we'll jump across to the next last one and see how far we get. All right, I could probably make another round over there, fill in that little bit right there, but no reason to. We've got 283 gallons left, and we've got 35 acres to spray it out on, so we're gonna go back in the next field and the last field, do that one. Did you see it? See that little deer? I scared the crap out of it. Little teeny tiny fawn, barely as tall as the corn, just took off out of here. Anyway, this is the spot where we ran out. 23, yeah, okay, cool. Close enough, awesome. All right, fold her up, heading back to the farm. Corn looks better already. That was where we started spraying. That looks really good. Well, I made it back. It's threatening to rain. It's sort of sliding east of us. I'm gonna go look at the radar. I hope we aren't gonna get rained out here, but it is a potential possibility. That fungicide needs an hour. Longer is better, but it needs an hour before it gets rained on to be effective. I think we'll be fine there. I'm not too concerned about that. It's the side dressing that we're still trying to get done here. Phil's been running. I don't know how much he's got done, but he is running. So let's look at the radar. Bunch of little pop-up showers, just random stuff all over the place. Kinda, sorta. There it comes, popping up. Gonna slide east of us, looks like. Berkey's getting a nice rain over here. That's good. Come over here and see how Phil's doing. Plus I can ride along the bar and get some cool video, right? Yeah, he's definitely going slow. And to be honest, I don't think this bar does as good of a job when you drive slow. 01 bleeds off a little bit there. A couple of them are. Yeah. Oh, we're back in my seat. All right. Well, Phil's got 76 acres done here. That's not too bad. Plus, he finished that field we were in last night. He spent some time replacing some stuff on the bar. We're getting wear. The boots, the opener blades, the beaver tails were completely wore out. He actually changed a bunch of those and put new ones on, which they were new at the beginning of the year. So we've worn a set out. We've got about 150 acres to go. It'd be really awesome to put all new stuff, or mostly all new stuff, on after we're done for the start of next year and wear these out the rest of the way. Most of them are doing a really good job. That row in particular right now is not, but we'll keep an eye on it, see how it goes here. But we might get rained out as well, so that'll change things. See how far we get. Actually, that one looks like a vapor tube came off. We'll stop up here on the end and check that, but I'm guessing that's a vapor tube line. I'm guessing that tube come off and we gotta reattach it, hose clamp it. I forgot to take my phone with me, but that was indeed the problem over there. And go figure, putting the hose back on the tube completely eliminates it leaking. Awesome, looks great. Bar's working good. Just had to change tanks, and well, there's thunder and there's lightning and there's no raindrops here yet. We got 40 acres left to finish this field. Yeah, it's gonna be hit and miss here for a little bit, but I'm guessing at some point it's gonna rain. We're like over here. So I don't know if that one's gonna hit us or not. But it's all over. It's all around us. I looked at the that rain that hit Berkey there. We've had 3/4 of an inch there already today. That's fantastic. We've had a few raindrops. We're gonna finish this field. We've only got one more round to do after this one, so we've dodged some rain showers, changed tanks again. This one we're gonna get done. That's good. In fact, all of the sudden here, the radar is kind of clearing to the south and west, the way it's coming from, and we may be able to get to the next field and get that done and get awfully darn close to finishing tonight if we don't. So it sounds like we're gonna be one tank short of being able to finish everything. It's well, 4:24, but Brock just took it the last empty back and said apparently they closed at 4 today because there's nobody around at the fertilizer plant. So we've got what we've got. They're out of anhydrous anyway. Their bulk tanks are empty. They're hoping to get a truck in tonight, and that means we better be in line in the morning to get one tank, one small tank. That's all we're gonna need to finish up, I'm pretty sure. We made it! got that one done. So we are going to head to the next field, and there's 72 acres there, and we're going to get that one done tonight. It's sort of clearing off. All of a sudden the sun is out, and it doesn't look like it's going to rain anymore tonight, which is awesome, because we need to get this done. So, Brock was at the field there. He's got what he can do for the night. Since the plant is closed, he's going to head home, and we'll do what we can do. All right, we made it over to this next field, and I ran this tank out. You would never know it was raining earlier. The sun's out. It's really nice. It's drier over here. I don't think we got any of those raindrops over here, so we should be able to get this field done. No problem. Going well here. We're moving right across this field. It's the same thing as I've been doing for the last week, so it's boring, so I'm not filming a ton of it, especially since I had the sprayer footage from this morning. We got a little bit left in this tank. We got 43 acres done, 27 to go. Getting there. Well, the little tank's empty fast. It took me just over a half an hour to run that tank empty. I do have one more small one here. We've only got 4 acres left to finish up, so won't take long, and we'll get moved back to the farm here tonight. We have quite an interesting pattern in this wheat field back here. Guys, do you see that trail? It's a different variety. They must have finished planting in the other end and then just decided to stick the drill in the ground and plant all the way up. And it crosses the corner over there and continues all the way out. All the way out across there. Gosh dang it, one of my auto steer catch. There. Yeah. All the way up to the road. Weird. Anyway, we're done here. Back to the farm. So, we're down to 30 acres. 30 acres left to side dress. It's the last field that I planted. It's the one where my auto steer was not working on this tractor. So it's going to be all over the place, and there'll be no auto steering it. We'll be hand driving the whole thing, which is fine. You just follow the crooked rows. It's also the one that has the 2 little fields that add up to less than 3 acres total, so there's that. And we don't have enough anhydrous to do it. This tank is still pretty full. We only did 4 acres out of it, right? Yeah, not even 3.5. So I could go down there and do half of it, but it's 5 miles the other side of our farm. Well, 4 miles, the opposite direction from the 10 miles that we are now. Not 10, 8. And then we would have to drive the tractor back tonight to the farm. So I think it's pretty sunny and clear. I don't think it's going to rain tonight. Or at least it's not going to rain significantly enough that we won't be able to go tomorrow. It won't really make any difference one way or the other. So we're going to go back to the farm and we're going to quit for the night. We'll take this first thing in the morning, work down there. Phil can go grab us a tank and we'll get it finished. And yeah, that's a win. So after that, we've got the spraying pretty well caught up. Dad's gonna have to spray beans, but I don't know if he'll get to it maybe next week, end of next week at the earliest. So field work, spring field work, just about wrapped up, which is awesome. Okay guys, well, thanks for watching. Tomorrow, hopefully we'll finish the side dressing up, and Dad and I need to go sit down and go through some chemical stuff, and we've got a lot of other things that need to be done. So there won't be a lack of content, I can assure you of that. I wish I could give you an update on the progress on my house, but there has been no progress on the house, no activity for about 3 weeks now, so that's kind of disappointing, but hopefully sometime soon they'll be here, start framing. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. If you have any questions and comments, leave them down below. We'll see you guys again tomorrow.